Can Arizona take down top 25 Cincinnati on the road in the morning slate? Good morning, Wildcat fans.
Welcome on into the AZ Wildcats podcast live from Studio K, presented by our friends over at Circle K. I am Damon Fairall. He is Kevin Thomas. We are the AZ Wildcats podcast here on PHNX Sports, coming to you live from PHNX HQ3. And we have another Arizona Wildcats game to talk about today. A mere less than 12 hours after our coverage, our post-game show coverage versus UCLA last night. Arizona getting the W, of course. But, of course, this show is presented by our friends over at Branded Bills. Shout out our friends, Branded Bills, for sponsoring this podcast. You know, the ultimate premium custom headwear and apparel in the game. Of course, check out that campus collection and use our promo code of BBPHNX for 15% off your first order over at brandedbills.com. Arizona versus number 25 Cincinnati on the road in an early slate on the East Coast. It's a tough matchup, Kevin Thomas. Arizona is 6-3. They're looking to build upon last week's momentous win against Kansas, where you reach that bowl eligibility status, and now the pressure can kind of be off you for the rest of the season. Right now, the rest of the year is you know, it's added bonus for what you were trying to accomplish this year. But Brendan said it. We're not ready. We're not done with 6. We're not satisfied with 6. And Luke Wysong agreed with a F no. So this team seems like they don't want 6 wins, Kevin, or a mere 6 wins. They want more than that. Can they get the job done versus a very, very good Cincinnati Bearcats football team?
I think they could. I think what's going to be, obviously very important is them executing on the road against a top 25 team like they never have before. I'm not saying that they can't, but I'm saying you have to play a game that you really have yet to play this year. You failed to play a full game against BYU, right? You got whooped against Iowa State and failed to play a full 40 minutes in your third loss as well. And I feel like if Arizona can do this, they're going to have to execute the entire game. There's going to have to be no lapses for Arizona in this one, especially on the road and with a team that's as good as Cincinnati, Damon. I'm ready for this one. Early morning, you and I might be, maybe napping a little bit. Who knows? But, yeah, I'm all about it, Damon.
I'm fired up, Kevin. I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe you're napping, but I've never been more awake in my entire life.
I mean, I'm hungover from beating UCLA.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that was a high that, is indescribable.
Yes.
And as UCLA fans this morning crawl into their, copium holes of, Final Fours. Cool, guys, cool. That we have the more recent national championship as well. UCLA basketball is a program of the past. It's time to lay it to rest. But as Kobe says here in the chat, we do have a path to win this conference. We have playoff aspirations. It's a great point.
We do.
Arizona is not out of the Big 12 title race if they handle business the rest of the way and get a little bit of help in the process. And that starts by kind of taking out Cincinnati from that equation, right? Because Cincinnati has playoff aspirations. Cincinnati is very much in the thick of a Big 12 title race. They obviously lost a big game against Utah that really hurt their chances last week, but they only have 2 losses on the season, only 1 in conference. They do have a tough slate the rest of the way as well, but Cincinnati is playing for something in this one for sure. And yeah, I do think that it's going to be a very both teams are going to want this game pretty bad. You know what I mean? I know that Arizona had the bowl game aspirations of getting there, but Now it's, it feels like this team can accomplish a lot more than that. And this is potentially the hardest game of the season, but who's to say you don't have an opportunity to win? Cincinnati isn't some world-beating team. They lost to Nebraska at home, playing some pretty bad offense. They were in a 3-point game with Kansas. They, were in a 9-point game with UCF. They got destroyed by Utah. Like, they are not a team that is unbeatable. So Arizona can go in there, but I think big thing that's going to need to not happen, Kevin, from an Arizona standpoint, is you cannot let Cincinnati get off to a hot start. This is a team that they protect leads well, but at the same time, at the end of games, they're not great. Like, they oftentimes are allowing teams to kind of get back into it because they've built up such a big lead in the first half. I think if Arizona can get out to a hot start, if Arizona can match a Cincinnati opening touchdown drive, or even, if they get the ball first, get an opening touchdown drive of their own, I do think that that's going to go a long way in terms of keeping Arizona in this game in particular. So, Seth Dagey, what do you have for me, my man? I think that getting a fast start in this one is going to be incredibly important.
And how do you think the Arizona Wildcats are going to be able to get that done? Right? Obviously, it's a tough uphill battle. No, top 25 team on the road in the morning. The fans, they got Skyline chili already, but Arizona has Red Line. When you look at this matchup, Damon, what are your personal keys? Like, where does Arizona have to really break it down and lock in order to get this win today?
Yeah, I mean, I think that kind of getting off to a fast start on offense is going to be very, very important in particular. Also, getting some pressure on this Cincinnati offensive line, who really hasn't allowed pressure all season, has been unbelievable in the running game. What does that look like? Are they just going to dominate you at the line of scrimmage? I think that, if they do, they're pretty much going to get whatever they want. I believe in Arizona's pass defense. I really do. I was looking at some statistics yesterday, Kevin, and let me try to pull them up here from our friends on with Game on Paper. And Arizona is a top 10 EPA per play pass coverage defense in the entire country, which is insane, especially after last season, especially after it's actually just 8th in net EPA per play defense overall in the entire country. Arizona's 8th. You look at Cincinnati's offense, conversely, they're 10th. So it's a matchup of good on good and kind of bad on bad. Not to say Arizona's offense is like terrible, or Cincinnati's defense is terrible, but they're both kind of more on the average side, whereas those other units are in the elites of college football. I think that, how your defense plays against that offense, that running game in particular, a quarterback that can really run it, a good running back in Tyree Walker, who, just played some big-time college football, played at Wisconsin last year, was at Oklahoma originally in his college career. But they also are missing a guy today. And, Kevin, I do believe we have the injury report, or we can get that sorted. Yeah, here we go. Out for Arizona, we have Tia Savea, which is a big loss, obviously. Going to see a little bit more, defensive line rotation there in his absence. MGK kind of knew he was going to be out all week. Arizona has bodies there at corner that they can put in. Isaiah Johnson being a game time decision is a little bit interesting. He is kind of in the receiver rotation. He's like their 5th guy. But really, these 2 players that they have listed out are fairly important as well. Caleb Good is their 2nd leading receiver, Kevin. He's got 380 yards on the year, 2 touchdowns. Not a ton of touchdowns, but he's a good player. And so, yeah, they are goodie, I should say. So yeah, they, that's a decent loss as a starting receiver that they have out. And then Evan Pryor, who I was telling you about yesterday on our watch along, Kevin.
I mean, he helped save this basketball
team.
And
he might have helped save the entire season, not to be dramatic or anything, but when we started talking about Evan Pryor, we started going on a little bit of a first half run to keep Arizona in that first half. But Evan Pryor is a really good football player. I was watching his highlights yesterday. He's an Ohio State transfer. Ohio kid, I assume. I actually don't know that's for a fact, but you'd think Ohio State to Cincinnati that he's an Ohio kid for sure. He's just a really good athlete. You could see why he went to Ohio State in the first place. He's their breakaway speed runner, Kevin. He's like their home run hitter. He has on the season, he has 3 touchdowns. I would have ventured to guess, I think that all of those were or long carries. He's averaging 7.2 yards per carry. I think this is a big loss for Cincinnati, especially because I think that they're going to really try to go after Arizona's run defense today. Because I think that Brendan Sorsby, while a good passer, takes care of the football, he's not like a super dynamic thrower. He's way more of a dual threat and really, really good at it. The best Arizona's probably seen this season from a dual threat standpoint, which is scary against this defense and how they've handled the running quarterbacks. But I don't see him really like throwing the football all over the yard and lighting up this Arizona defense or this Arizona secondary. I think they're going to have to run the football. I think Evan Pryor being out is a big miss for them. But I still think Cincinnati ultimately is going to be able to run the football pretty effectively.
I like that. Your mom wants to know if we slept at the studio.
Might as well have, Mom. Might as well have. If I curled up on that couch right there, I probably would have gotten a little bit more hours of sleep and honestly would have felt better in the morning after that fast food stop I made last night, Kevin. But
I probably, honestly, same. I probably would have slept better at the studio than I did at home, mostly because I was like, I can't really sleep. I need to watch my Netflix show to fall asleep. And then it got good, and all of a sudden I'm just watching episode after episode, and I'm like, this is not good for myself tomorrow, but that is okay.
What is good?
Bang.
AZ Cat Dan.
Bang.
Super chat $5. I'm here to support my favorite podcast, guys, and my Wildcats. BTFD. Appreciate you, my guy. Thank you for being a supporting club member as well. Means the world to us that you would show such support, AZ Cat Dan. But yeah, I mean, I you know what, Glenn, we may have. We have a very close and special relationship.
Maybe if we did, we would have got better sleep. We both just said we went our separate ways, and all of a sudden, we couldn't sleep.
The chemistry is off the charts. That we did show our availability report. Let's go ahead and do you have your keys ready, Kevin? Your keys to the game.
I do have my keys to the game ready. Key number 1, stop Sorsby's rushing attempts. Brendan Sorsby is a really good quarterback. What he is the best at is utilizing his frame, utilizing his agility and athleticism to gash defenses with his legs. Arizona has really struggled to stop quarterback rushing attempts this year. They need the buck needs to stop somewhere, and if you're going to win this game, it has to stop here. Key number 2, keep Noah Fifita clean. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the conference statistically already, but he's definitely up there when he is in a clean pocket and he is not under pressure. And if you are going to get a road win, your quarterback has to come through for you, and you have to keep him clean. Key number 3, Cincinnati has one of the best offensive lines in the country this year, having just allowed only 2 sacks. You have to get after them and get disruptive, but how? You have to give them looks only the way that Danny Gonzalez can, and that is crazy, off-the-charts, disguised blitzes that's giving them different looks, things that they are not expecting from this Arizona defense, and those are my 3 keys to this game, Damon.
It was interesting per Justin Spears kind of hearing about how Cincinnati runs a somewhat similar 3-3-5 where they have a lot of designed and disguised blitzes in their own right. Arizona's offensive line had one of their worst performances of the season last week, Kevin. Gave up 5 sacks against Kansas, who I believe in our matchup battles we said was even off on the pass rush side of things with Arizona, but vastly outplayed Arizona's defense when it came to pass rush last week. Noah Fifita was seemingly not reading the blitzes all that well, was not, in my opinion, I don't think that that's entirely on the O-line. I think a lot of it has to do with the quarterback not properly reading which guys are going to be sent and calling it out to his alignment as well. What just wasn't a good week from a pass protection standpoint, and I think everybody will probably wear that. Hopefully this week that was a big point of emphasis. Because I think we're going to see a lot of disguised blitzes in our own right, and I think this is going to be a big key, Kevin. Because as I stated, and as you know as well, they have Cincinnati being one of the best O-lines in the country. I believe they've given up 2 sacks all season. Like, they're unbelievable, elite offensive line. Their running game is one of the best in college football. I was telling you that, their offense is 10th in EPA per play. Their rush offense is 5th in success rate. I mean, they're unbelievable, specifically running the football. And so their O-line is great. You got to find a way to actually penetrate that offensive line. You really, really do. And conversely, you got to protect Noah Fifita because, there are games where Noah Fifita, like Houston or like, Colorado, where it feels like everybody that's getting a rush on Noah Fifita, he's finding a way out of that blitz and getting out on the move and making the right decision. But against a team like Kansas, he was turtling the ball a little bit, and you started seeing that I think he started feeling that pressure more so. So I'm really interested in seeing how both offensive lines handled the 3-3-5 disguised blitz kind of pressure today. As Kobe said, losing Buchanan killed them. But I will say that Matthew Lotto, if you look at his PFF grade, was really good. And that's not to say that, PFF is everything. They're just a tool and a resource, not the end-all, be-all. But at the same time, I think that Arizona probably gave Matthew Lotto easy assignments. They bring him in for his first game, his first real snaps. They're probably saying, hey, just get the guy in front of you. Well, the other 4 on the O-line will do, the stunts and the blitz pickups and all that stuff. You get the guy in front of you. So I think there's something to be said about that. But, yeah, I mean, we'll see how this offensive line fares today. Kevin, are we ready to do our shots fired segment?
Yeah. I mean, I would say we are ready to do some shots fired with our friends over at Three Amigos Tequila today. Well, I guess this morning, Damon will be having Ramona's Reserve, the classic. I will be having some Anejo, and that is how we're getting down with our friends over at Three Amigos Tequila.
You guys hear that? A little ASMR.
It's one of the best sounds.
It really is a great sound.
It's one of the best sounds. But, yeah, as Damon pours his shots, I'm going to matriculate and, contemplate and think about what my shots fired is going to be.
Shout out Ramona's Reserve. Went through that like water.
This Anejo is going to be really good, but I was talking to Damon pre-show.
It's also really early, Kevin.
I am jealous. It is really early. I'm jealous that Damon is getting the last shot of that Ramona's Reserve. Because it is, what were the 3 S's I had? Sweet, smooth, and spiced.
Wow.
I mean, come on. It's Ramona's Reserve.
Do you want to go first or you want me to go first?
You go first, Damon.
All right. Let's do it. Shots fired. At the television executives who decided to put this game at 10 a.m. when Arizona had a basketball game the night before. What the hell were you guys thinking? How did you not factor in me and Kevin's opinions on the matter? People who do pregame shows, people who do watch-alongs, people who do postgame shows. You've ruined my life. What are you thinking? You couldn't have done noon? You couldn't have done 2 p.m.? I mean, I'm not asking for the game to not be played. I'm just asking for a little bit more of a come down, Kevin. That's what I was telling you earlier. I felt like, I was on this ascension last night, and it peaked at Arizona final buzzer versus UCLA. Yeah. Then it's like, okay, well, let's start winding down. Oh, wait, no, we're going right back up because we got a ranked football team to play in less than 12 hours.
Red line.
The television executives didn't give me any opportunity to be the amount of fired up that I want to be for this football game, but I'm bringing it anyways. Shout out Three Amigos Tequila. Shout out Ramona's Reserve.
Salud. Good shots fired, Damon. Honestly, that is a great idea. Where the direction in which you took that. I am going to give my shots fired to Skyline Chili for being closed and denying our guy Justin Spears the experience of a 5-way or 4-way, which way he said he was going to have. And no, that is not a sexual thing. That is a chili thing. That is a food thing. So, honestly, that's where I'm going. Skyline Chili, you're slightly overrated. In fact, you're hella overrated. Gold label, gold star, whatever your competition is, they're better. They're open till midnight, and they would have served Justin Spears. That's a fact. You did not serve Justin Spears. Last night, we gave a shots fired to Mick Cronin for dissing Justin Spears. Today, we're giving a shots fired to Skyline Chili for not serving Justin Spears.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it. Did you take your shot?
I did. I took it at the end of your shots fired.
Yeah, I just fired you up so much, I guess.
You really did. That's why I was like, you know what?
So I know Skyline is the official chili sponsor of the Cincinnati Bengals. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
But
also, Erica trying to educate us on what Skyline Chili is.
Here we go.
As if we don't know it's a spaghetti thing.
Skyline Chili named the official sponsor of the UC football spring game. Seems like there's an association here between Skyline and Cincinnati.
So it's an inside job. So they didn't serve Justin Spears because they knew he was an Arizona writer. They changed their hours because they knew Spears was coming to town, and they knew he wanted the 5-way. And that was just simply too freaky for them out there.
Bro just cracked the code.
I think, I've been watching a lot of, The Night Agent on Netflix, and I think my conspiracy brain is on high alert. But anyway, Damon, that's neither here nor there. Let's get back into this Cincinnati matchup. I do believe we have some matchup battles as this game kicks off in just a matter of 8 minutes. Shall we get into that?
Let's do it.
Starting with quarterback, this, I believe, is the first time we have lost this battle all season. We're giving it to Brendan Sorsby. Why? Why are we doing this? I believe it's because if Cincinnati continues to be successful, we're talking about a legitimate Heisman candidate in Brendan Sorsby. And if we are not going to give every quarterback battle to Noah Fifita, he's got to lose it to guys like this that could win a Heisman if their team wins out and finishes the season. Damon, what's your take on this quarterback battle?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I didn't want to have Noah Fifita lose one of these all season. And unfortunately, I think we potentially are looking at him losing another one next week as the Big 12's leading passer, Sawyer Robertson, is the matchup, right? But Brendan Sorsby has just been unbelievable this season. It's hard to really understate that. As you said, if Cincinnati is in the Big 12 championship, I think Brendan Sorsby should be in New York at the Heisman ceremony. He right now on the season in total has, let's see here, 21 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. And then, of course, on the ground adds 453 yards with 8 touchdowns. So on the season, he has 29 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. Unbelievable. That's an unbelievable season. Noah Fifita's having a really good year. He's not having that year. Brendan Sorsby, I think, almost over every quarterback in the country would win this matchup battle right now. Got to give the edge to him. As we move on, running backs. This was partially with Evan Pryor factored in because he was still questionable when I made this. But I still think that maybe we lean them a little bit, although maybe I would go even in hindsight here. I think Tyree Walker, he's an Oklahoma transfer. He's a really good player. He's pretty similar caliber, in my opinion, to an Ishmael Mahdi. But if we're, factoring in, I know it says running backs, but it's kind of running game in a sense. They do have a better running game than Arizona, in large part because their quarterback is so good at running the football. So I expect them to have a elevated ground game over Arizona in this one. Moving forward to pass catchers, I got even again, as is the case with basically every single time we do this graphic, Kevin. There is the best player on the other team. Cyrus Allen is the best pass catcher on either squad here. 36 catches, 514 yards, and 10 touchdowns. They have a dude with 10 touchdowns already from a receiving touchdown standpoint.
Trace Spivey should have 10 by now.
Crazy stuff. He's a Texas A&M transfer, Kevin. A lot of SEC Big Ten transfers on this Cincinnati team, which is probably the move, right? Probably the path to success, especially in the Big 12, in a conference that's not as talented as those other two. But yeah, I think they have good players. Caleb Goody out, another decent sized player that's going to be absent for Cincinnati today. He's their second leading pass catcher, 380 yards. Good player, but not an insane player. They still have Joe Royer, who's a NFL tight end. Joe Royer, Kevin, beat Travis Kelce's tight end records at Cincinnati last season. So he's a really good player. Yeah. I mean, he's obviously not Travis Kelce, but he's a really, really good football player. And
you're right, he's better.
He'll be drafted for sure. So, and then you have Jeff Caldwell and Noah Jennings as well, who both have over 200 yards. They have a good receiving core. Arizona also has a good receiving core filled with a lot of depth. Nunu Watley's still our leading receiver. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that over the course of a season. I need that to change. No offense to Nunu Watley. He just needs to be the gadget guy. He needs to be the jet pass guy where Noah Fifita can pad his stats a little bit, screens, bubble screens, rabbits, rockets, you name it, man. Give it to Nunu Watley. But what I don't want to see is crucial downs where we're targeting him with the football. I've been seeing that way too much this entire damn season, bro. Enough. Find Trey Spivey, Luke Wysong, and Chris Hudson on crucial downs. Those are the guys that have been the most consistent all season. They've made the most dynamic plays. Find those three guys. Lean on those three guys. And by the way, Chris Hunter is back in this one. So that'll be good for Arizona as well. Another receiver to add into the mix. Getting back into it, offensive line. If I could do 2 arrows, I would give 2 arrows. Not because Arizona's O-line is bad. I think Arizona's O-line has performed pretty admirably this season. But Cincinnati's O-line is one of the best, top 5 in college football. What's crazy, Kevin, is they had 2 guys drafted.
Wow.
And they got better.
Yeah, it's nuts.
I was reading a preseason preview of Cincinnati, and they were like, well, with these 2 guys gone to the NFL, you got to imagine Cincinnati assuredly takes a step back on the O-line standpoint. And you're like, actually, no. Actually, they're going to be even better. They're really, really good. They actually didn't have a good game last week against Utah. That's such a physical team. Arizona could potentially match that, but I'm not going to hang my hat on that necessarily. I think this O-line is maybe the biggest advantage of the whole graphic here. Moving on to a little bit of defense, we got run defense and pass rush. I got the same for both of them. Arizona's run defense is obviously not that great. I think it's like in the 80s in EPA per play. Cincinnati's is in the 100s. I do think Arizona can take advantage of Cincinnati on the ground today. Just as much as Cincinnati's probably going to do the same to Arizona, I think Arizona can do the same to Cincinnati. I don't think Cincinnati has that great of a defense. I think Arizona, if Seth Doege calls a good game plan, could have a really good offensive day. I don't think this defense is going to be able to stop the run. I really, really don't. But yeah, we'll see on that standpoint. I think it's pretty even from like a front 7 versus front 7 standpoint. They have better linebackers because they have this guy, Jack Golday, who was a defensive end, Kevin, and transitional linebacker. He's like 6'4". He's huge. He's better than any linebacker we have on our roster. But pass rush, Danny Gonzalez, disguise blitzes versus Cincinnati's DC doing disguise blitzes. 17 sacks apiece on the season. Really, really even. Arizona always has the advantage in DBs, in my opinion. Arizona's safeties are just so good. And then special teams, U of A's been getting better. I'll say that. Hey, U of A's been playing better on special teams for sure. Like I want to see improvement, and I can't be mad at progress. It was terrible to start the season. It is now serviceable. And we saw a decent jump in the Kelly Ford special teams efficiency rankings last week. That being said, Cincinnati's top 10. So they got a really solid special teams unit, and they got the advantage there. And then I think you got to go Scott Satterfield and everything he's accomplished this season over Brent Brennan and his staff. Arizona's staff looks better and better by the week. We'll see if we are saying the same thing on our post-game show. But I think Cincinnati, you just got to give them the advantage in coaching right now.
Great breakdown from our guy Damon Dog of the Cincinnati Bearcats matchups against the Arizona Wildcats. And it is 10 a.m. And I feel a lot more awake thanks to our friends over at Three Amigos. I'm feeling pretty good now.
That was a little wake-up call.
I'm ready for this game like I've never been ready for a game before. But really quick, before we do get out of here, we do have our score predictions for this game. And spoiler, shocker, alert. I'm picking a win. Damon picked a loss. 35 on both sides. But I have 35 for the Arizona Wildcats. Damon has 35 for the Cincinnati Bearcats. I have Arizona taking it home by 4. Damon has it as an Arizona 11-point loss. Do we want to elaborate, or do we want to let it speak for ourselves?
No, I mean, I just think Cincinnati's really good. I think that they're at home. That's a big advantage. And like I said, I do think that like this game has to kind of go in a specific way for Arizona to win, whereas Cincinnati has a multitude of different ways that they can win. It's a little similar to UCLA last night, where it's like, like their only way of winning is mucking the game up 60-something to 60-something, which is what they got, and then hoping the 50-50 chance at the end of it goes in their favor. Because it was going to be a 50-50 chance in a game like that, but if it was going to be a shootout, Arizona was always going to blow them out, right?
Yeah.
I think this is similar, where Cincinnati can blow us out here. If it's going to be a game where Arizona wins, it's going to have to start with Arizona scoring fast, Arizona scoring early, and Arizona kind of putting the pressure on Cincinnati to play catch up rather than the other way around. But I just think that at home in an early kickoff on the East Coast, that's too much for Arizona to handle. At home, I might be singing a different tune, but I think this Cincinnati offense and run game in particular is too good. 35-21. Was that what I had?
Yeah. Well, 35-24.
24, yeah.
Yeah. I love it, Damon. I'm predicting Arizona win. I think Brent Brennan and company continue to improve, continue to show their worth, and get it done on the road, and really start building momentum towards what could be like a 9-win season for this Arizona Wildcats team. Damon and I preseason said 6-6 win predictions, pretty much with a ceiling of like 8 wins for this team.
Yeah.
The fact that they might break the ceiling is kind of unbelievable.
Or that they have a chance. They have a chance at least. There's 3 winnable games here the rest of the season. And this is the least winnable of the bunch, but you still have a shot, right? Like you still have like a 30 to 40% chance depending on what analytics site you use. It's going to be a big one today. Arizona versus Cincinnati. Revenge for Gabby Moreno. Shout out my guy Ernesto, who brought up the rain delay game that the Diamondbacks suffered earlier this season. But he also says it's a Noah Fifita game, and if he pops off, it's a dub. I love it. I absolutely love it. Arizona needs a W today against Cincinnati. Would go a long way in terms of the feeling around this program, the fan base, the fan support, and just getting that premier win of the Brent Brennan era, because we've yet to see that, right? Like there was the ranked win versus Utah last year. We all know how bad Utah was in actuality, right? That does it's a fake ranked win. That team was terrible. They were worse than Arizona, who was 4-8. Like this season, this is the biggest game of Brent Brennan's time. This is a massive game, and it really would be a win that you can sell to this fan base and use to pack Arizona Stadium next week. I'm Damon Dog. That's Kevin Thomas. You had something else?
I was just going to say that this game has just kicked off. So this is the perfect time to wrap up the show, Damon Dog. I'm pumped for this game. Thanks to our friends over at Three Amigos and Brandon Bills and all our favorite friends and Arizona Wildcat family in the chat. As Russell Smith says, known Sun Devil, can y'all beat them for ASU, please? We're going to beat them for us. And if you benefit, that's just a side effect, okay?
Perfect spin zone on the post-game show. Make sure that you guys are there for that one, because I already got a nice little excuse if we lose.
Oh! First play! Brendan Sorsby throws a deflected interception. Caught by the Arizona Wildcats.
Break out the sword!
Break out the swords!
Arizona versus Cincinnati. Follow me at Damon Dog. Follow him at Kevo Post. Follow us at PHNX_Wildcats and see us on the post-game show. Hopefully celebrating an Arizona Wildcats W. Let's go. Arizona football. Break out the sword. Peace out. Bear down.
And go Cats. Break out the sword like he said.
We all silly like the mayor.